Hello, everybody. Welcome back to today's stream. So I am going to just quickly say that obviously we have seen that the Queen Elizabeth has passed away. So we want to pay our respects. Obviously, both of us being from the UK. So yeah, it's sad news, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is very sad news. What's it? She
Yeah.
was 96.
Yes, exactly. And reigned for 70 years. But we are seeing a bit of a tie to the crypto community. I'm not sure how much, this, like, obviously being a guy from the UK, this does seem ridiculous. One thing I will say is, some of these might pump, but at the end of the day, they've just been kind of, made on the Binance Smart Chain. And yeah, they're pumping, but they're kind of pump and dump coins. So if you guys are looking at, getting into some of these infamous, previously we've seen the Squid Games token that's kind of, risen and fallen. But yeah, so there has been a massive influx of these coins, but just, beware, guys. They are pump and dump schemes primarily. So we'll just park that there. Next thing I want to move on to is that we are looking, and this is just over the course of since the beginning of the year, there is a general kind of downtrend of activity across exchanges. That's what the word is. And also you can see the daily exchange volume as a 7-day moving average. Again, just that negative downtrend. We are up a little bit slightly, as of recently, but it could just be that's selling volume, So I don't know exactly what it is you guys think of this, but just something to be aware of, that there is a lot less volume on these exchanges. So make sure that you're kind of aware of this. But I think a lot of this is also just people parking their cash because they know that there's going to be some kind of massive move, and there's been a lot of uncertainty with fundamental data. So obviously, you're not really going to trade if you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So that's another point that we want to have a look at here. Now, coming on to the White House, AJ, did you hear that Gary Gensler was like, there are certain, his quote was, there are certain projects or certain platforms that have like 50, even like 500 different coins, and it's unlikely that none of them are securities.
Okay, no, I did not hear that actually.
No, he mentioned that, and I think it was like David Rubenstein, I think, was the interviewer. He's like quite a traditional finance big guy, but yeah, so he mentioned that. So it is likely. Well, I think also he's encouraged FTX, Binance, and all the big exchanges to come in and actually speak about how they can work together, because obviously no one in the SEC really knows. But at the end of the day, they're going to try and make as many things a security as possible, and obviously make sure that they have like full control over what exactly does and doesn't happen in the crypto world, which I think is a big shame. And we can also see the White House here just spreading into that control sentiment. The White House releases report on crypto mining effect on the environment. So we all know that obviously the proof of work is not a good what should we call it, what actually is proof of work? Protocol. Yeah, protocol. So it's not great for the environment. We're all very much aware of that, and there's no there's no getting past it. But this is one thing that I think could be one of the catalysts to kind of bring like adoption away from the crypto market. So looking at, we know it's bad for emissions, etc. But I think so we will probably see in the future a move towards more proof of stake coins, and also there might be some other things like proof of history coming in a little bit more, because I do think especially across Europe and the US we'll begin to see this real pressure on proof of work protocols. But pressure is not something we've been seeing for Luna Classic. Luna Classic, by the way, guys, we have been seeing this pump by 250%. Now, Luna Classic is it's like the community-led version, as opposed to, was it Luna? What's the new Luna? Is it just called Luna? It is, isn't it?
Terra Luna, yeah.
Yeah, just Luna, because Luna Classic is like
Luna,
they gave it to the community, and Do Kwon carried on with Luna, which his is not really doing too well, but Luna Classic has been up 250%, which is actually, it's relatively good news. I don't believe in this project 100%. I think it's one of those that could come back, but it's never going to come back to the strength it once was. But they have released a staking service, which was kind of the primary, should we say, push that allowed this to begin pumping. So, a crazy amount of supply of, I don't even know what number that is. Like, that's millions, that's billions. That's 6 trillion, almost 7 trillion. You could give one Luna Classic to every person on the world. But yeah, so there's quite a lot. The staking ratio is not great. But when you think about it, if we're beginning to see this could be a rising trend. And obviously, you're taking Luna out of circulation. If you do include some burning in there, that is going to be relatively good. But data from staking rewards show that staking Terra Classic is returning users with an annualized 37.8%. Now, this is crazy high, and obviously it's not going to be able to sustain this for a very long time. Like, the issue was that previously it was tied to a stable coin. This, I don't know if it is tied to a stable coin, because obviously the stable coin is crashed and burned. And I haven't seen anything on here about that. But yeah, so, staking it, I think it probably is good for a short term. But again, it's just one of those where everyone's hyping it, everyone's getting excited, but eventually it might come back down. I don't know what your thought on
the issue is with that is that if you lock your tokens away, there's no way that you can get out of that. You can't get out of your tokens back into dollars. So you're sort of stuck there if the market does crash.
And the thing is, because it's such a small market cap, that does seem relatively, I'm not going to say likely, but it does seem not unlikely, which is one thing to consider. And obviously, guys, we have seen these massive push-ups in price. So what we will be doing is going through those just in a second. But just want to mention here the Ethereum merge. This is something I mentioned yesterday. Make sure you go back and watch the video on Ethereum decoupling from the crypto market if you want to kind of see this in a lot more detail and kind of better understanding here. So as we move from that proof of work to proof of stake on Ethereum, we are expecting, or I should at least say, the BitMEX CEO, Alexander Hofner, he is saying that we should be expecting much higher volatility, which, to be honest, is actually not a bad thing, just in the sense that, there are going to be a lot of people looking to get into it. Now, one of the topics that he's mentioned, and this is exactly what I went through yesterday, why it might be decoupling, is that we could have a huge influx of institutional adoption after the merge. And so this is because we could see Ethereum being treated more like a bond, in the sense that, with the institutions, they have to buy relatively low risk bonds to make up some of the percentage return they get. Now, Ethereum might give you out about 10 to 15% per year just from staking. So, as a normal guy who might want to stake a coin, Ethereum looks very, very good. Now, obviously, you also get back a percentage of the fees. That's how you also get your return. So this is one thing that I think is very attractive. And obviously, people are now paying attention to the fact that institutions might be jumping into Ethereum in a very, very big way. If very big if, we see the merge go down very well. But yeah, so for now, I guess institutions and also exchanges, and also myself, we're looking to see if we have a lot of volatility and people jump in. But people are kind of expecting that Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. I think it can do it definitely, let's say, surpass Bitcoin in relative growth, he said. I'm going to pass this over to you, AJ. Should we have a look at Ethereum? Should we start on that?
Yeah, let's have a little start on Ethereum and take a look at Ethereum. Bringing my screen up, then we can see that Ethereum has had the push towards the upside after its little correction on the 6th and the 7th of September. And we are coming into some strong resistance. And that's good, because if we can get above the resistance, then we can be looking at the next levels. And the next levels are around those $2,000 levels. So if we can get above $1,800 approximately, then that will be great for Ethereum. But as I said, it is a resistance level. Previous resistance here, we've seen a rejection. If we're looking here as well, we've had resistance before the break towards the upside, more resistance along here as well. And then when we were above it, we used it as pretty major support before that break towards the downside. So very clearly, this is going to act as very strong resistance. We did actually come and touch it literally to the dollar here, seeing a very slight rejection from $1,720 approximately. But I do anticipate we are going to come up and test this resistance level a little bit more. And whether we break it or not, we are unsure. But if we do break it, the next level that we can be looking at is the approximate $2,000 level. Break of this, the next level we'll be looking at is $2,000. But if we do get that rejection, then there is a possibility we could, if we do find resistance here, we could get that rejection, and we could see the price of Ethereum have a little bit more of a pullback. But we do have this falling wedge that is still valid on the Ethereum charts. As you can see, resistance up here on this falling wedge, and major support at the bottom of it as well. We did get the break towards the upside, and we are having that positive reaction towards the upside. Now, price targets for this, the first price target has already been hit at approximately $1,700, but that final take profit point is at 2,000. Now, this is signaling to me that we could get above this resistance here, and then we could come up to this next resistance level here at approximately $2,000. And this has acted as major resistance previously right here, and it's also acted as major resistance back here as well. So this is going to be the next level that I'm looking at, only if we do break above this resistance. So for Ethereum, it is looking fairly good if we can get above these resistance levels here. And hopefully that'll bring us up to the next resistance, where I do find, where I do think we are going to find a lot of resistance there as well. So we do just have to be aware of that. But yeah, if we can get above this resistance, then I do think $2,000 is that next level for Ethereum. Taking a look at Bitcoin then, because yesterday evening, I did give you a Bitcoin trade. I did say that there was a bull flag forming on this Bitcoin chart. And if we were going to get a break towards the upside, I would be going long. But if we broke towards the downside, I would go short, because there was a potential Bart-Simpson pattern happening there. And as we know, Bart-Simpson patterns, they do tend to come back to where the price was previously trading before that push towards the upside. But we did actually get a nice break towards the upside. So as you can see here, if I zoom in a little bit, making it a little bit bigger so you can see it a bit clearer, we have the bull flag right here, and then we have the break towards the upside. The break towards the upside was where I went long. We pulled back, got a nice bounce. I increased my position on that long position, and you can see we had that nice big reaction towards the upside. So I did warn you about this last night on the live stream, and I did say the target was 20,000. And that price target was hit perfectly, and actually smashing through that as well. Price is currently sat at approximately $21,000. And from this long, I made about 18%. I was trading with 5x leverage. There was about 3.6%. That was a take profit point for me, which with 5x leverage was around 18%. If you use 10% leverage, then it's about 35%. But I kept it safe, kept on the 5x leverage. So looking good for that trade. Bigger time frame for Bitcoin. Looking at the 8 hour, you can see we have this resistance here. We did break towards the upside. We've used it as support here, and we're getting that bounce. We're getting that push towards the upside. The next target that we could be looking at for Bitcoin potentially is that $1,700 level, because that is the next resistance level, horizontal resistance level right here. So we could be looking at the price coming up to there. And then we could, if we get a break of that, we could come up to this sort of more major resistance up here at around $22,700. But there's more resistance before we get there. We are just below a major resistance level on the daily. So we did get a fake out right here. I did tell you that I was going short for this break towards the downside of the support level. But I told you if we were going to get a candle break above the support level, I was going to close this short position, and that's what happened last night. Sorry, not last night. That was on the 7th of September. We did get that break. Yesterday night, the 8th of September, we did get that break back above. I think I have moved this very slightly. So it was more like that. But yeah, we did get that candle break back above yesterday night, which is why I closed that short position. And as you can see, we are seeing a nice reaction towards the upside after breaking back above that support level. And we are coming into some major resistance here. So the major resistance sits between $21,200 and $21,600 approximately. Now you can see this has been major resistance here, where we spent 5 days within this resistance level, trading between a $1,000 range. Previously, before that, we've used it as support. Before that, we used it as resistance before breaking towards the upside, and resistance here, rejection, resistance here, rejection. So this is going to be a major, major level. Once we do get to that level, we are very, very close to that level we are very, very close to that level as of right now. But once we do get there, we are going to find a lot of resistance. Now, if we get rejected, we could come back down to the support at 19,000. But if we get a break towards the upside, then we can start looking at the next resistance levels on here, which is the shorter time frame, the 8 hour. We can start looking at 22,700. If we break this resistance level here at around $21,700. And if we can break above that, break above $21,500, then we can look at the $25,000, which would be the bottom of this bearish flag, which would invalidate the $12,000 target if we were, and only if we were, to get a break back above the resistance at the bottom of the bearish flag. So there is a chance that we could get up to 25,000 and invalidate that bearish flag, but it's not certain. We are still below this bearish flag, so the technical target is still 12,000. But for me, as I said, only if we break this $19,000 level. Now, it looks like we could be forming a double bottom here to me, Ben. Does look like a nice double bottom, doesn't it? Ben's gone quiet.
Sorry, I muted my mic.
Yeah, I was just saying that we've got a nice double bottom. Nice double bottom pattern here, double bottom W pattern. It's looking good, isn't it? If we can hold this support and we get a nice bounce, we could come up and test the resistance at 25,000.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we do. I think there's a little bit of upward momentum. It's a bit of a relief, especially for the rest of the markets as well. Looking, not only just at the likes of Bitcoin, but obviously we've seen Ethereum pump, S&P pump, Nasdaq pump as well.
Yeah,
and also the DXY has come down. So I think in these areas where there's not too much going on, is there, in terms of support and resistance? We kind of have them fairly well. Oh, okay.
There is that resistance at 24,000.
Yeah, true.
The next level, the $25,000 level, this is what I've just been talking about the bearish flag. If we do come up to 25,000, there is going to be a lot of resistance, because we've got this major resistance here at 25,000, as you can see, previous resistance here. But we also have the resistance at the bottom of the bearish flag. We want to break above 25,000 to invalidate that $12,000 target. That's what we want to do. And that is a possibility. As Ben said, the DXY has been falling. As you can see right here, we have dropped below this support level, previous resistance, on the DXY, which is very, very good for the crypto market if we can stay below this resistance level. And the price of the DXY continues to come down, then that will be great for the crypto market, the traditional market as well. And hopefully we can come up to this $25,000 level and invalidate that $12,000 target. Right now, $12,000 is still on the table because we are below this bearish flag. So we have to keep that in mind. I know we're coming up to resistance levels and we're coming up to higher levels. But until we break above approximately 25,000 and the bottom of this resistance at the bottom of the bearish flag, then I am going to still keep telling you that 12,000 is still on the table, because we need to invalidate this bearish flag to invalidate that $12,000 target. So we still have to be very aware of that. The good thing is, though, as well, on the S&P 500, as Ben said as well, that is pushing towards the upside, and we are seeing a nice bounce off of this support level here. Hopefully we can come back up and test this previous support level, which is actually going to act as resistance now because we are below it. So hopefully we can come up to this resistance level. If we can get above this, then I don't think we will see a crash like we saw in 2008. Just showing you that quickly, we're looking very similar to that 2008, just before that 2008 crash. This isn't the right one. There it is. So this is 2008, that 2008 crash. We're looking very, very similar to it. I've showed you this multiple times. Rejection from the 200 MA, come down to the support, break the support. That's what we're seeing. If I bring up the 200 MA, rejection from the 200 MA, come down to the support, break the support. But what's holding the price up right now is the support at $3,910 approximately. That is holding the support, and we are seeing a nice bounce. If we can get above this resistance level here, which was that previous support, which is the same support level as back in 2008, I think we could invalidate this 2008 potential crash again, because in 2008 we didn't actually break above this support level, or previous support, now resistance level. We actually just continue towards the downside. So if we can have it differently this time and we can break above this resistance, then I think that would be good. But if we get a rejection and the continuation down, then I do think we could have a similar crash to the 2008, but only if we break $3,900. So
can I add on to that?
Yeah.
Just to give you a bit of like a bullish sentiment as to why I feel like we might not, as AJ is saying here, we have to break down below that 3,900 level on the SP 500. But I feel as though at the moment, with having this little bit of a pump, and also I guess the fact that when we look at what Jerome Powell was saying yesterday, so he said, "Hey, look, guys, in that interview, the Q&A." He was saying, look, guys, we are probably going to be hard for a long time. We're going to do whatever is necessary, and we are going to make sure that inflation comes under control, which basically means that we're doing a 75 basis point hike. And the thing is, the market didn't run away. Yesterday, we continued to see a bit of a pump. So I feel like now we've kind of priced that, that fear in.
Yeah.
So when that 75 basis point comes, it's going to be like, all right, cool. Like we knew that was going to happen. So there's not going to be a shock. So I think, we'll be like, okay, now that all the negativity of having a 75 basis point hike has already been priced in and dealt with, now we only have the benefits of doing a 75 basis point hike will bring inflation down. So that might be a bit of a catalyst to kind of see a lot more optimism in the market if we have that. And then the second thing is to make me a little bit bullish is now all of the eyes and all of the fear is on what's happening in China. And also what's happening in Europe with regards to the Eurozone crisis of, crazy high interest rate, etc., and inflation. So that's one thing I think that, those two things I think in combination are actually going to make the US look a little bit stronger than what we've previously been looking at it.
Yeah, definitely. We can't be, getting too excited about the pump though, because there is always a chance that we could have a big change. But it is looking good as of so far.
Also, sorry, I was just going to say again. Sorry to keep cutting you up, but
that's right.
But this little pump we're seeing. So what I mentioned, obviously, looking maybe good for the US economy. That is more because it's fundamental, because it has to do with like big economies. That's a long-term thing. One thing I saw on Bloomberg was that basically when if you're a hedge fund, you might invest and you might go long, but then you might have to cover your position and take a short position. Or if you're going short, you might have to buy long positions just in case. So it's always that kind of like, it's called hedging your position, hence why you have hedge funds. So what we saw was the Goldman Sachs, basically the index of how many people are short covering. So basically covering their short positions by buying longs went up by the largest amount in like a significant period of time. So that I think was what led the beginning of this little pump. So it could be a short squeeze that we're seeing at the moment, people covering their short positions, but then also squeezing out a couple other people in the industry to then push it down very heavily. Same as what we saw with GameStop.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are still a lot of institutions that are probably trying to push the price down as well, because as you've shown before, there is a lot of limit orders down between sort of the previous low, which was at 17,500 and 10,000. So I think there are still a lot of institutions out there trying to push that price down, and it is going to be a potential that we do see the price come down there. So don't get too excited seeing this pump. Obviously, it's nice to see the price pump, but until we can get above, for me, 25,000, I think that 12,000 is still a realistic target. Unless we
Yeah,
get
I think
above
you've got the name.
25,000, then yeah, I see. Don't worry, I never get too excited, Mr. Panda. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's with crypto. You can never, ever, 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 ever get too excited because yeah, I remember when I first got in, and as soon as I got in, the market absolutely rallied. I got really excited, and then it came straight back down to where I bought at. So it was
yeah,
short
yeah.
lived. It was very short lived, but yeah,
And just a quick question, AJ. Obviously, you've nailed this on the head. Unless we are breaking serious levels of support, resistance. We're not actually bullish yet. It could just be a big short squeeze, and it might
yeah.
look that way currently. But if you were in Carver Kids' position, what would you be doing? Obviously, not financial advice. This is not what we would tell you to do. But if AJ was in your position, he was up 20% on the day. What would you be doing?
It depends if it was a. It depends if I was trading it. If it was a long position, then obviously probably 20% is a good trade and scaling out of it. But if it was for long term holdings, then I would keep it open. It depends what it was. Continue to hold it. It depends what it was. But yeah, if it was a long trade, then or even, no, it would be a long trade because the price has been going up. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Yeah, but if it was a long trade, then I would probably start scaling out of it. That's what I do as the price goes up. I do tend to scale out of my long positions just to bank the profit to ensure that you can't turn that winning trade into a losing trade. But if it's a long-term investment, then that's very good. Keep it open until we hit these resistance levels, and then you can start taking profits at the resistance levels. And even the same when if you've got a long position open as well, just be taking profits at resistance, at slight profits at resistances. If we break above resistance, keep it open, wait for the next resistance level. If we get to that resistance level, then take a bit more profit there. If we break above that, then great. But if we get a rejection, then maybe take some more chips off the table. So it's just waiting to get to those resistance levels if you are charting it, or just
Yeah. No, you're
yeah,
absolutely right. Because that is key. It's great, and I've done it before, especially where you're in a trade and you think, okay, this is fantastic. Like I'm actually making a bit of money here, and then
yeah,
and then it keeps going up and up and up. We just got a question here. Can you check Atom? So
yeah. I'll have
um,
a look at it.
yeah, so like I've done it before where while I'm doing this, I end up you hold on because it keeps going up and you can't think of it going any other direction. But
Yeah,
then sure enough, it does. It starts to come down again. You're like, I had so much.
yeah,
It's that classic. Yeah, greed often kills a lot of gains in trading. Um, but yeah, overall, it's just a case of you need to secure your profits when you can. And to be honest, 20% is actually really good.
yeah,
Like especially in today's market, a lot of hedge funds and stuff, they're aiming for what, like 10, 12%. You know, stock market on average historically has done what, between 8 and 12, and 20%, you're actually doing well. So yeah, good trade. I'm glad that you were happy for you that you've been able to get that. Has anyone else been trading today? Drop a comment if you have been. I know what was it? So AJ entered a very small short, but then obviously that got invalidated, and
yeah,
we knew that this would happen. So we knew the invalidation. Well, we didn't know the invalidation was coming, but we knew what to look out for. We looked out for it as soon as it happened. Cut the trade, take your profits, and run. Really. Um,
Well,
so
take your slight losses as I did, only very
I take
slight.
you. Yeah.
But then we turned those losses into a profit because then I told you last night that we had that bull flag that was a breakout. So I made a nice 18% on there as well. So the loss was a 5% ish, and then the profit was an 18%. So there we go.
Yeah,
So you always
30%
want
up.
to make more than you lose.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That's what
okay
you
to have
want
a
to do.
losing trade as long as you can like identify the key areas as to where it is you lost, and if you catch
Yeah.
it on the rebound, everything's good.
Yeah, I'm looking here at Atom, and Atom's looking really good. There's not much TA on it to do.
So
Looking
I'll
at
bring it up your
resistance.
chart.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's just one massive pump. I like that.
yeah.
It has
I
been
mean,
in an upward trend though.
we are in. Well, we were in an uptrend, which usually an uptrend does turn into a downtrend, but we smashed through the resistance at the top of the uptrend, as you can see right here. and we are continuing towards the upside. So the next level that I would be looking at for Atom is actually this resistance level here at $20. I could see the price come up to there because that's the only sort of logical. There's a little bit of resistance along here just because we've used it previously as support. So we have
how close did that wick to it?
Oh, it touched it on the dollar.
Did it touch it? Okay.
To the dollar, $17.20. So that level for me would have been a bit of a TP point as well. First TP because we have used it as previous support, so it is going to be a bit of a resistance. But yeah, $17 maybe is that first TP. And then looking at the resistance up here, you can see we've had resistance here, we've had support here before the breakdown, and we've had support back here as well. So the $20 would be another take profit point as well. If we broke above that, then keep the position open. If we hold it as support, keep it open. If we get a nice bounce, keep it open. And then we can start looking at the next sort of levels, which may come in around $22. As you can see, support here, support. And then with the breakdown, then a little touch before that sort of that retest before that push down to that $20 level. So yeah, maybe taking slight profits at $17, then taking slight profits at $20 to see whether we can get that break towards the upside that could take us up to $22. So that's what I would be looking at for Atom if I was in a long position on that. But no, I'm not in a long position on Atom right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think to be honest, for me, I would I'd probably be waiting. I wouldn't enter at this stage. Maybe see if we have a rebound off of that upward channel, or the upper band of the upward channel. Maybe then, and see what. But I'd probably see what Bitcoin's doing. That would be my thing. And that's the thing, guys. Maybe I'm a bit too scared. I might be a bit of a pussy, but.
If you were to get into a position now, you would be FOMOing in. You have missed the pump. Now, the pre-pump that we were looking for was this bull flag that I gave you last night. So that is what we were looking at. This break towards the upside. That's where we want to enter. We want to enter on the retest as well and the bounce of the retest. And then you can see we got the pump. That's where we wanted to enter. And that's where we did enter last night when I was live. I did tell you I was going to go long if we broke towards the upside. That's exactly what happened. So we want to get in before the pump. We don't want to be chasing this pump. Right now is too late to get in. We wanted to get in down here, which is what I did last night. I was up and I was ready to take this trade, and I took that trade, and it got a little bit late. So as you can see, it hit TP at 4 in the morning, approximately 4 in the morning. I was asleep by then. I probably went to bed at like 2 o'clock. So I was getting a bit bored of that. So what I did is I put my take profit at $20,000. And as you can see, the price has smashed through that. But I wanted to just put that there because I didn't know the price was going to smash through that. I wanted to put that there and just go to sleep and not worry about that, and having the stop loss at invalidation, which is below the support level here at the top of the bull flag. So yeah, that was a nice trade. That if you watched yesterday's video on time, you would have seen this trade set up. And yeah, that played out really nicely. As I said earlier on today, that was a nice 18% move for me because I did have 5 leverage on that. But yeah. Nah, I think if you're getting in now, it's a bit silly. You would be looking at short positions here. You would be looking at because we've had this pump. You would be looking at short positions because we are coming into these resistance levels here. So this is potential shorts that you would be looking for rather than long positions. If we break the resistance level here, then yeah, you can start looking at long positions. But yeah, I think it's too late to get into those long positions now. As I said, you wanted to be watching that video that I put out last night for you, where we got in before the pump.
Yeah, couldn't really agree more, to be fair. Yeah, there's not really. It's a little bit late. I think what we'll do is we just have to maybe go live a little bit later and keep your guys up to date as to anything that is actually happening.
Yeah.
But for now, everything's looking, pretty good. I think we're going to see a bit of a reaction in the US market, but yeah, currently looking at these kind of levels right now at that, like you said, 21, whatever that is, up to 20, 21 and a half, something like that. And then see how we react.
Yeah, definitely. So I will most likely update you on the TA side of things later on. So watch out for that. I probably will go live because we are coming into this resistance level here. Now, if the price continues to push up and we break the resistance level, then I will make sure I go live. But if we do come into this resistance level, I will update you on what's happening with the DXY, the S&P 500, and obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and make sure you slap a like on the video. We do really appreciate it. You're muted. Unless everyone.
Oh yeah. That's all. I just wanted to point. No, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you later, guys.